Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, good morning. It's Saturday. You know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host. I am the undisputed champion, Jeremy Pearson. Yeah, this was a crazy week for one reason and one reason only. But first things first. Always the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Charismatic Cards, which will soon be Charismatic Gaming, also on YouTube. And Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. The 215 spelled out on Twitter. Last week we had Primed and Ready, the WWE Championship, and this week we were supposed to start Faction Warfare, but I had to make an audible, and we'll be talking about Sasha and Naomi's Walkout. That's the show. Remember, I always say, I put on the poster, card subject to change. And that's what we're going to get into today. But for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. All right, so like I said before, y'all know about Sasha and Naomi. That news is going to be our top story. We're just going to really dive into that. But for now, Shelton Benjamin is injured. He's out of action, and I assume he would have been in this whole Cedric thing, and we don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's out with an injury. So there it is. We've clarified the Money in the Bank situation. No, they're not going to get a guaranteed WrestleMania main event match. Whoever wrote that script was fucking stupid. We'll leave it at that. Edge for the Judgment Day stable wanted Harland, Parker Bardo, who was released a couple weeks ago with those NXT releases. Edge handpicked him, but there was a reason that he wasn't called up. He wasn't picked because they released him after discovering something troubling about his past, which we don't know about. But you also signed the motherfucker, so what? Things in his company doesn't make sense. If you saw Raw, which we'll go over, Cody cut his promo about how Seth had it easy winning his way to the top in the WWE, and afterwards Seth later in the night, not on the show, but shot that down, saying on Twitter that no, he didn't have he was on the independent circuit as Tyler Black before he joined the WWE. He said he started wrestling at 18 years old in back rooms of bars and pool barns, UAW halls, parking lots, lost money, broke bones. Like, I've seen Seth on the indies, so it's just a story that they've got to tell. CM Punk absolutely blast Matt Cardona for mocking the Sasha and Naomi drama. Pretty much, Cardona tweeted out, "If I could go back in time, the night I was pushed off the stage in a wheelchair on Raw, I should have walked to Johnny Ace's office, placed my neck brace on the table, and walked out because I wasn't being respected enough as internet champion." And Punk responded, "If you go back in time to stand up for yourself, you should stand up for the workers. Stand up for the workers now." I don't know if Cardona was trying to play onto it or if he really thought it was stupid, but we'll get into that a little bit later. WWE files a new response to the MLW antitrust lawsuit. They filed a new court filing The company's legal team argued that MLW failed to address WWE's use of exclusive contracts with media partners, whether those contracts were contracts for closed MLW's target markets, and failure to respond to WWE's arguments against the claim. So this is not being talked about enough, and it's not going anywhere. Raw saw a boost in viewership, bringing in 1.73 million viewers with a .45 in the 18 to 49 demo. That's up from last week. Actually, that's up from the last couple of weeks. That's up since April 11th, where they had 1.8 million viewers. XFL has signed a deal with Disney, so Disney and ESPN will be the exclusive broadcast. They have the exclusive broadcast rights for the XFL for the 2023 to the 2027 season. All right, we'll see. So now we got the XFL, we got the USFL, we got the fan-controlled football league. So, yeah. NXT is going on tour. They've announced a couple, that's not dates, but they've announced where they'll be at. So they'll be doing the Coconut Loop in Florida. So they'll be in Tampa, Key Largo, Jacksonville, Venice, Citrus Springs, Orlando, Melbourne, and Cocoa Beach between June and July. Ricky Steamboat denies any reports that he's coming out of retirement. Two-Face, Ric Flair, he shots that down. We don't need to talk about that anymore. Let's move on. Kenny Omega is working backstage as a producer while he's recovering from his injuries. And this is good. You can hopefully help the women's division get more fucking time on TV, because Kenny's not coming back from his injuries anytime soon. I wouldn't expect Kenny to be back till at least right before Revolution. NXT ratings, they barely cracked 600,000 viewers. They brought in 601,000 viewers with a .14 in the 18 to 49 demo. It's not good. Last week they brought in 533,000. I mean, plus what do you want? NXT's not a good show anymore. The dream match between The Rock and Roman Reigns all hinges on The Rock signing the contract. Period. Except for The Rock. That's it. I mean, The Rock knows he's going to lose the match, but does he want to lose the match? We'll see. An alarming statistic has come out, which irks my soul because I'm a big fan of this wrestler. But since Thunder Rosa has won the Women's Championship 64 days ago, she has appeared on Dynamite less than 20 minutes. Let that sink in. She has appeared less than 20 minutes. She hasn't even wrestled. You want it? Yeah. Thunder Rosa hasn't even wrestled since winning the championship. Let that sink in. That is crazy. Do better. Do better. Dynamite's ratings are back up. They pulled in 922,000 viewers with a .33 in the 18 to 49 demo. That's pretty good. Stephanie McMahon is taking a leave of absence. This kind of shocked a lot of people. She said she's going to stay home and focus on her family. Focus on Hunter, who's back, but he's still recovering from the cardiac incident. It's kind of caught people off guard. She's been less involved as of late in the E, and this was really a big surprise internally. Her team was actually dismantled in the last round of layoffs that they had. So you could kind of see the writing on the wall, which we really didn't know about. But Nick Khan is climbing up that Mortal Kombat tower. He is. Wild's original business plan was to serve as a Tessa Blanchard rehabilitation project, which, great, help her, but Tessa can't help herself. So according to Fightful Select, Wild's original business plan was meant to serve as a rehabilitation project for Tessa because every major promotion, including the WWE and AEW, had stopped showing interest in her. Tessa was also livid that CBS canceled a planned tryout in January due to COVID. Tessa was livid, and she felt that the tryouts could have still be done by Zoom or in a smaller school. So Wild just canned her and shifted their focus from Tessa to AJ Lee. Period. We may never see Tessa Blanchard like in a major wrestling promotion again. Not Impact, not WWE, not AEW. She's just burning bridges wherever she goes. Triple H is back working full time in a different role. What that is, we'll find out. And lastly, Paige Van Zandt, who's been gone for about two or 3 weeks, will be returning to TV after taking a leave of absence. So we can kind of get the Men of the Year American Top Team feud going with Sammy and Tay. Now the question is, are Sammy and Tay faces again? Now that they're fucking with Kazarian? Is Paige? This is weird. This is weird, but that's the news, and we'll be right back. All right, so when it comes to like in-ring action, this was, I guess you can call it a quiet week for the shows. But Monday Night Raw, fireworks, as you obviously all know what happened. Again, we'll dive into that later. But Lashley beat Omos in a steel cage. Listen, we were so close to the show starting with an actual match. MVP and Omos came out, and then MVP proceeded to talk for like 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes. He just talked. And then he went to commercial. They didn't even start the match. Like, we were so close. We were so close. They did a good job. They do a good job hiding Omos's defects, as they did it with the steel cage, but he lost because they showed his strength by using him and throwing Lashley against the cage, and the cage breaking and Lashley just rolling out. And that's how Lashley won. So strong but incompetent. Theory was supposed to face Ali. He switched it up and had Ali face Veer. Ali lost because Veer keeps winning. Ray and Dom made the save. So I'm assuming we'll get a 6-man tag match at some point. The change to the main event, so it's supposed to be a 6-pack challenge. As you know, Sasha and Naomi walked out, and it became Becky versus Asuka. Riddle beat Jimmy to lead into the Unification match on Friday. Judgment Day says things, and they said they're not done. There's going to be a 4th member. AJ and Finn defeated Los Lotharios, who I thought were Smackdown wrestlers. And they all too sweeted along with Liv. And the beat goes on. We were supposed to have a DNA test with Ezekiel, but they said there was barbecue sauce in the test. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Alexa beat Sonya Deville. Again, Cody cut a promo. We actually had the Cody counter, which started at the beginning of the show, and it was going to lead up to Cody actually coming out. It did well, actually. Cody's been cutting the same promo, which is fine. But him and Seth will face each other in Hell in a Cell. Cody won the first 2 matches. I don't know why we need a 3rd match. Whatever. Zeke beat Gable with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. 24/7 stuff. Truth got Dana divorced. She then ran into Carmella. They had some words and talked trash on each other. Dana told Carmella the only time, last time she was relevant was when the chinless dude was here. Dana proceeds to get chased off. Truth runs into Carmella and pulls a Jerome reference. Carmella, girl, where you been? These two did create gold together. Now they're going to work together to get the 24/7 title off of Dana. Brooke Lacey Evans promo. She came out, said some things, and she's a face again. All right. And Asuka beat Becky in the main event to become the #1 contender for Bianca. The show gets a fist for some very obvious reasons. Over on the Dynamite, we had a solid show on the road to Double or Nothing. The show gets a fist. The male Joker was Johnny Elite. Good match. Very, very good match. Joe won the match. Lethal and his crew jumped Joe after the match until the best friends made the save. Matt and Jeff Hardy were surrounded by the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. And you know what we are going to be getting. So just feed it to me. And I'm all with it. Hangman beat Kenosuke. Let me say this again. Hangman beats Kenosuke Takeshita. You know, the really good Japanese guy. It's really good. It's a really good match. He actually beat him with the GTS. Punk was on commentary and said, you know the phrase, copying something that's a serious form of flattery. I forget. My brain hurts right now. Swerve and Lee beat the Workhorsemen, and then the 3 tag teams spoke. And we'll be getting that triple threat match for the tag team championships at Double or Nothing. Wardlow no-sold the lashes until MJF just kicked him in the nuts after the 9th lash, and then MJF and Spears just beat him up. Kyle O'Reilly tapped out Ray Fenix in a very, very good match to advance to the next round of the Owen Cup. This was solid. Go check this out. The Jericho Appreciation Society played on their opponent's history. So it was Jericho Appreciation Society on the entranceway with Eddie, Santana, Ortiz, Moxley, and Danielson and Regal in the ring. And they broke kayfabe a little bit, but again, as long as everybody's cool with it backstage, then I'm cool with it. But Jericho made a point that, Mox, last when you and Santana were on doing, you guys were trying to stab each other in the eye. And Eddie, you called Danielson a control freak. And Eddie was like, he is. And that showed the cracks. And Eddie and Bryan Danielson got into it until William Regal had to break them up. So intrigue. Maki Ito was the female Joker. She lost to Britt. This was fun. They had some history. It's hard to describe Maki Ito. It's funny. Serena Deeb cut a really, really great promo. Got the what treatment from the idiot fans. Dustin came out to just kind of talk to her, and she just called bullshit. She hit Dustin. Rosa came out to check on Dustin and Britt. Deeb hit Rosa. And in our main event, Adam Cole beat Jeff Hardy to advance to the finals of the Owen Cup tournament. The Undisputed Elite then took out the Hardys, Darby Allin, and then they Pillmanized Sting. God damn it. They Pillmanized Sting. Over on Impact, we had Ultimate X qualifier, which was won by Mike Bailey. Taya, Valkyrie Medium, and Jordan Grace defeated Tasha Steelz, Savannah Grace, and Deonna Purrazzo in a nice match. Eric Young cut a really good promo just about being in Impact. This is home and how he's challenging for the World Championship again. And we're building towards Masha Slamovich versus Havoc, which I love a hoss fight. And the Briscoes retained the tag team championships over Violence by Design. Over on SmackDown, we finally had the fucking unification match. So the show's going to get a thumbs up, just because we had the unification match. So the Bloodline started the show. This was like the 12th or 13th time that SmackDown opened up with more talking, probably more than I'm losing track. And pretty much Roman told the Usos, yo, y'all better bring this home. Period. Shinsuke Nakamura beats Sami Zayn, so we'll see where the Sami Zayn storyline is leading with him and the Bloodline. We had Happy Talk, and Corbin fed into the big bald Corbin nickname that Madcap Moss gave him, saying, I huffed and I puffed and I put him in the hospital, which is great. I told y'all, man, Corbin is underrated. Y'all don't give him the respect that he deserves. Gunther killed Gulak once again, and Ricochet made the save, so goodbye to Ricochet's championship reign. LA Knight is now Max Dupree. He'll be starting his own little stable group faction called Max Model Management. And Smackdown is very, very heel heavy, because he's clearly a heel here. Shotzi spit some heat on Raquel, and then proceeded to lose to her. I'm tired of also Raquel just smiling all of the fucking time. It is really stupid. Xavier Woods beat Butch with the Backwoods, and then Sheamus and his crew beat him up. And in the main event, the Usos actually won the unification match with a little help from Roman Reigns. And then they proceeded to dismantle RK Bro. Gotta love the Mark Cam, little kids in the crowd crying, bawling their eyes, like even grown men looking a little upset. You know why they looked upset? Because they got RK Bro. WWE got RK Bro over. They were over. Nobody wanted to see them lose. This is good. And finally, over on Rampage, the House of Black defeated the team of. This wasn't a great Rampage, which is hard to say. But the House of Black defeated the team of Fuego del Sol, number 10, and Evil Uno of the Dark Order. The Death Triangle confronts them after the match. FTR versus Roppongi Vice will happen, so we'll get a Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. Spears beat Big Damo, who is the former Killian Dane. Chris Statlander defeated Red Velvet to advance to the Owen Cup. The baddies then attacked Ruby and Anna Jay. Ruby was on commentary to make, and Ruby tried to make a save in that damn numbers game, but the Anna Jay made the save with a chair, and Anna Jay's now going to get a TBS championship match at Double or Nothing. We had a training montage with Hookhausen, Mark Sterling, and Tony Nese. So this is going to be fun. We had the Men of the Year cut an in-ring promo. Sami Zayn and Tay destroyed Scorpio's TNT Championship. Kazarian did it too. So this feud is continuing. I just don't know who the good guys are in this feud now. And in the main event, the Blackpool Combat Club defeated Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. The Jericho Appreciation Society attacked them after the match. That was Rampage. Obviously, I skipped some things, but that was Rampage. Matches of the week. Check out Dynamite's two Owen Cup matches versus Samoa Joe versus Johnny Elite, and Kyle O'Reilly versus Ray Fenix. Also from Dynamite, Hangman Page versus Kenosuke Takeshita. From SmackDown, the Unification Tag Team match. And from Rampage, the Blackpool Combat Club versus Dante Martin and Matt Sydal. On a star of the week, there are two. Simple, it's very easy. Sasha Banks and Naomi. We'll be right back. All right, so if you haven't heard, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out before Raw. There's a lot to this that we're definitely going to get in, but I wanted to first start with previous walkouts and what were the reactions for them. All right, so none gets more famous than Vince McMahon. I'm sorry, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Why would Vince McMahon walk He walked out in 2002. He was dissatisfied with his own planned storyline. He was going to be in King of the Ring in a King of the Ring qualifying match against Brock Lesnar, and he was expected to lose. He expressed that he felt they created a storyline that lacked anticipation. And Vince claimed, and we know this famous line, took his ball and went home. Austin later says, it was reported he later expressed regret overall the walkout, which caused a rift between him and the WWE. See, Austin was a huge star, and him just leaving wasn't great. What about Alundra Blaze? She abruptly left in 1995, and she went out with a bang. Y'all never forget, she appeared on Nitro and put the WWF Women's Championship in a trash can. And pretty much that ended things for her in the WWE for 20 years. That was a bold move. A very, very bold move. And the throwing in the trash can was suggested by her. She eventually came back and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2015, pulling the belts out of the trash can. No one can ever forget 2004, Brock and Goldberg. 2 years after Austin walked out, we all knew it. This is when IWC, the news was really starting to gain growth. But we heard through the grapevine that Brock and Goldberg were both leaving. So the match was completely shitted on. Goldberg was not thrilled with his storylines and character treatment, and Lesnar wanted to play in the NFL. Both are fine. Goldberg had a major reason to be upset, because this was right around the time of Triple H's reign of terror. We cannot ever forget that. And it just didn't work. Dean Ambrose left. He pretty much lied and told Vince McMahon that he just needed some time off. They even acknowledged that he was going to leave because he felt that he wasn't treated as equally as Roman and Seth, which he wasn't. He wasn't. And the rest is history. Well, we have Jon Moxley. CM Punk. We know the story. We don't need to rehash this. 7 years he was away from the ring because of this. What about some more recent ones? How about Jeff Hardy, who effectively planned his walkout and made it look like he was off the wagon again, so he wouldn't have to do another drug test, because he didn't want to be in the company no more. Gail Kim, we all know infamously, just walked out of the ring and left. Battle Royale, Gail Kim just climbs into the ropes and just leaves. She then goes on back to TNA Impact and becomes the greatest in the women's wrestler in the history of that company. And more recently, Toni Storm just left. She just left. She just flew herself home and was like, fuck this shit. So how bad does it have to be where you, take your ball and go home? So let's dive into the Sasha and Naomi situation, okay? So there was a 6-pack challenge planned, right? For Raw. Sasha, Naomi, Becky, Asuka, Naomi, Doudrop. Sasha and Naomi go up to Vince, John Laurinaitis, like, yo, this is dumb. Not dumb. They go, why are we in this match? Carmella, Zelina Vega, Rhea, Liv are all on this roster, right? And why does Sasha and Naomi have to be in this match? Coming to find out, Naomi was going to win the match and take on Bianca. And then the following SmackDown, Sasha will become the number one contender for Ronda. It's all well and good, right? It's a title shot. They dare ask the question, but what about the tag team championships? Oh, those don't matter. They won't be important for the next month. We're just going to put those by the wayside. So not only will we as tag team champions look weak, but we're also going to lose the championship matches. Okay. They expressed this to Vince, who did not back down. They expressed this to John Laurinaitis. And when they couldn't come to a compromise, they put their tag team championships on John Laurinaitis' desk and walked out. And here we are. Sasha unfollowed Vince and a few more people before the fallout. She unfollowed Vince, Becky, Bayley, which is very surprising. The Usos, Seth Rollins, Roman were also unfollowed. She only follows Cena, Snoop, Tamina, Naomi, and I think a fan account. All right. Now, there's an original report that Naomi was planned to pin Sasha. That is not true. We know it was probably going to be Nikki. So my first question is why? Okay, let's say you have the 6-pack challenge. Why not have the storyline started with Sasha and Naomi versus Doudrop and Nikki, and that they take themselves out of the match to heat up Doudrop and Nikki. Doudrop trying to fix Nikki, and now it becomes Asuka versus Becky, which we should have just gotten in the first place, right? But no. So not only did they not get their way, that sounds wrong. Not only was the match not changed, but the tag team championships were just going to be irrelevant. And the thing is, Sasha and Naomi were like, well, we've done everything to build this back up, but you guys don't treat this division with any fucking respect. You just don't. Why? Now comes to find out, Sasha has heat. Now, why would Sasha have heat? We're going to get into that. We're for sure going to get into that. Like I said before, Vince didn't back down. Vince never back down. The WWE want to say things like they're a family, and that you can always come to them, to the higher ups, to express your concerns so we can work out a compromise. That is not true at all. Now, more news comes out that we have another issue with Sasha and Naomi, which is contracts. So apparently Sasha and Naomi's contracts are up in 2 months. Let that sink in. So not only were Sasha and Naomi concerned about the direction of the tag division, but their contracts are also up in 2 months. Which is odd that their contracts would be up at the same time. It's very, very, very odd. They've been called diva marks. They've been called unprofessional. And the WWE was something they never ever do, released a statement. And that statement was just bad. And it was used to try to put the talent backstage against Sasha and Naomi. And guess what? It's starting to work. in the statement, they said that they're sorry for not giving you what was advertised, which they rarely ever do, and that Sasha and Naomi had issues working with two of the people of the match, which again, it's not true. The other people in the match were Becky, Asuka, Nikki Cross, and Doudrop, who Sasha and Naomi have had multiple matches against. And now people are calling into question Naomi's motivation. Naomi, why does her motivation need to be questioned? She wants some respect, period. And Sasha and Naomi, here's the thing, they're not going to be fired. They're not. They're not going to be fired. They are completely unfucking touchable. Period. Come to find out on SmackDown, and it looked like Cole didn't want to read it, and Pat didn't say anything. Sasha and Naomi were suspended indefinitely. They are no longer the tag team champions. There will be a tournament to determine the new champions. Mind you, there are only two rosters on the main roster, two teams on the main roster. Not only that, Sasha and Naomi merchandise have been pulled from the online shop. And get this. They have been taken out of the then, now, forever intro. And WWE has removed their official Facebook pages. So they're going petty to the limit. Just petty to be fucking petty. So that's how do we get here? Question is, what's next? Let's start with this tournament. Now, here's the thing. During the pandemic, Sasha was tag team champion with Bayley, and she was taking on Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. So that's really no difference than what went down, what was supposed to go down on Monday. But here's the difference. At that time, the tag team championships were defended between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And they had a plethora of teams. Now, not so much. And let me remind you, NXT has their own women's tag team championships, and those belts are treated a lot better than the main roster belts. So, besides the teams of Doudrop and Nikki Cross and Shayna Baszler and Natalya, what other teams do they have? Mind you, let me open this. I open up one specific thing. Who the WWE have released when it comes to women? Because since we're supposed to care that we're getting a tournament now. Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Vanessa Bourne, Skylar Story, Jessamine Duke, Lana, Ruby Riott, Santana Garrett, Marina Shafir, Mercedes Martinez, Eva Marie, Mia Yim, Nia Jax, B-Fab, Ember Moon, Frankie Monet, Katrina Cortez, Jessica Maya, Zeta Ramir, Scarlett, Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai, Persia Parada. So more than enough to have teams. So who in the fuck is going to be in this tournament? Let's take a look at the SmackDown. Let's take a look at the SmackDown and Raw's roster. Let's look at the women that they have at the moment, okay? On Raw, we have Alexa Bliss, no partner. Asuka, no partner. Becky Lynch, no partner. Bianca Belair, no partner. Carmella, will they team her back up with Zelina Vega? Who the fuck knows? But Carmella and Dana Brooke are the 24/7 title picture. Doudrop, okay. Doudrop and Nikki. Lacey Evans, no partner. Liv Morgan. Well, her and Rhea Ripley just got split up. We already spoke on Nikki Ash. We already spoke on Zelina. And Sonya, no partner. Tamina. Now, I can see them teaming up Tamina and Dana Brooke for this tournament. That actually would not surprise me. Over on SmackDown, Aaliyah, no partner. Charlotte, gone. Not fired, but away. Naomi, suspended. Natalya, who's with Shayna. Raquel, no partner. Ronda, the women's champion, who wasn't even on SmackDown this week. Shayna Baszler with Naomi, with Natalya, Shotzi, and Xia Li. And he fired Shotzi's partner. SmackDown's women's roster is, I said this last week, SmackDown's women's roster is incredibly thin. Incredibly thin. There are way more women in NXT and in NXT UK than there is on the SmackDown roster. So, who the fuck you putting in this tournament? And what if they just go out of their way to steal talent from NXT? So it's so laughable that they say we're going to have a tournament. Now, wrestlers being upset against Sasha about Sasha and Naomi, questioning, well, why would you turn down championship matches? It's because it's very simple. It's very, very simple. This ties into my last 2 points of support them. The division has been made to look weak. They are trying to make the division look great, look good, look comparable. And that's just not happening. They keep putting teams together and splitting up. Rhea went from a tag team with Nikki to a tag team with Liv. Nikki went from a tag team with Alexa to a tag team with Rhea. Shayna went from a tag team with with Nia to a tag team with Natalya. So what are we doing here? We have these championships and the division is absolute garbage. And remember, they split up Carmella and Zelina. So why are you upset with Sasha and Naomi? You should be supporting them for not only standing up for you and the division that they have fought hard for, but for also standing up against bad creative. Telling them this doesn't make sense. But we're not allowed to go against Vince. We're not allowed to speak out against him, speak up against him. That is absurd. Don't you think Seth Rollins and Bray were like, hey, the ending to this Hell in a Cell match is fucking stupid. Don't you think the New Day would like a win at WrestleMania? And the WWE wants us to try and side. They have the nerve to call Sasha and Naomi unprofessional, but nobody called Charlotte unprofessional for the title swap with Becky, because that was all Charlotte's fault. When Jeff and Tony Storm just left and went home, nobody called them unprofessional. So we're not even gonna get into the reason why Sasha and Naomi are called unprofessional. If you can't see me, I'm putting on some lotion on my my caramel skin right now. You should be supporting them. Now, yes, you can't have everybody walking out. And here's the thing. Sasha and Naomi are untouchable. Untouchable. They will not be released. Period. Why? Well, Naomi's married to Jimmy Uso, who's the cousin of Roman Reigns, and they're the top act in the entire fucking company. So they're clearly not going. She's clearly not going to get fired. And Sasha Banks, we've said this, we've discussed this. She's bigger than the company. She doesn't need wrestling. She's clearly going to Hollywood at some point. She's a huge fucking star. they're not going to fire her. Are you kidding me? And as much as I would love to see them go to AEW can't handle it right now because the women can't even get 2 matches on the show. They can't even get more than 15 minutes on the show. Or the women's champion has spent less than 20 minutes on the main roster since winning the championship. 20 minutes on TV. Less than 20 minutes on TV has been Thunder Rosa. So Sasha and Naomi going over there, I don't think it's feasible because they can't even treat the talent they have already correctly. So where do we go from here? What do we do? Well, first things first, everyone and their mom should be showing support for Sasha and Naomi. Period. You should be thanking them, appreciating them for doing something that a lot of people should have done. We talk in society that people in power should use that power justly to help those who need the help. You have 2 women who have that power. You have 2 women who are fighting for you, and yet you're going to criticize them for what? Turning down championship matches. As you can see, Ronda was not on Smackdown because, well, she doesn't have an opponent. But get this, that is all to the WWE's making for releasing so many wrestlers just because they wanted to turn a profit. Now Sasha and Naomi won't be released, but you released dozens others. 2 dozen, 3 dozen others. What are you going to do? You literally just had Raquel lose to Ronda Rousey the last week, I believe. You had Raquel lose. Now, I'm fine with pushing them down to build them back up. That's a great story. It works. Well, it used to work at NXT, Black and Gold. It worked in Black and Gold. Now it doesn't work in Rainbow NXT. But Aaliyah, I think she's going to go into a feud with Shotzi, right? Xia Li's not doing anything, but she doesn't get TV time. What about Shayna and Natalya? Both really good friends with Ronda. They could also, those matches would be bangers. So you could try that, but don't you kind of want to save Shayna versus Ronda for something major? And Ronda's already faced Natalya. Charlotte's gone. They did this to themselves. Now, do you get why Sasha and Naomi are upset? Do you understand that? The fact that people have the unmitigated gall to criticize them irks my fucking soul. Really, really does, man. And I'm hoping that I'm hoping that this isn't a work. Because if it is a work, it's a great work, but I don't think it's a work. The WWE releasing that statement doesn't make it seem like a work, right? Them calling the championship belts, which is one of Vince's banned words, and them saying that the WWE is scripted performance and they expect the wrestlers to do their job. They don't do shit like that. Now, Sasha and Naomi have not made any statements. They're just going on living their life. They're just doing the thing. And here's the thing. Outside of Matt Cardona's dumbass, who I'm a fan of, they have the support of a lot of people. Ruby, Bailey, Dax, CM Punk, many, many, many others. So Sasha and Naomi, no matter what happens, they'll be fine. They actually have the high ground. They have the high ground. Because why? They're unfucking touchable. So we got to let this play out. We got to see what news is going to come out. And look, we see the WWE being petty. They've taken Sasha and Naomi's merchandise offline. They've taken them out of the opening intro. They've gotten rid of their official Facebook pages. But they're fine. See, here's the thing. Sasha and Naomi need not flinch. The one thing they can't do, they can't flinch. And there are people that that believe that Sasha talked Naomi into walking out. Who believes that? Who actually genuinely believes that? The one thing we know is that Sasha loves professional wrestling. And she is strong and she will speak up when need be. So for everybody going against Sasha, and I'm not even going to comment on the dudes that wear sunglasses, black sunglasses in the pictures, and take pictures in front of the American flag. Get in line, get on board, and get with the program. Because this story is not going to die down. It's not going to go anywhere. And I want to see how this plays out. I want to see who's going to flinch first. And I'm hoping and I'm praying it's the WWE. But let me know what you guys think. That is our show. I appreciate you all. All right. Next week, we will be doing our Double or Nothing preview show and predictions. And the card looks amazing. It really, 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 really does. Don't forget to check me out on the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Don't forget Charismatic Cards will now be Charismatic Gaming. Also on YouTube, the 215 spelled out on Twitter, and Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. I'm your host, Jeremy Pierce, and as always, Zia Lee, Gigi Dole, the Wendy Chu, and Nikita Lyons. Holla at your boy. Peace.